All right, welcome to Shift. It is time for an update on the WAN process. We have Ron Van Buren, who is later going to share with us what the listener survey came up with, what some of the interviews did. Kathi Tunheim, former council president, who is leading this project, and Michelle Edwards, the new council president, who is working closely with Kathi and Ron. Of course, Ron's also on that listening team, which has been so important. And I think we'll just go straight to Ron to give us an initial summary of what you have heard with the interviews.
Okay, thank you. I'll be glad to share what our initial interviews revealed. First of all, in the area of strengths, we have a strong sense of community, connection, and engagement. We're very welcoming and inclusive, a wide-appealing programs for all, especially small groups and outreach, relatable and inspiring sermons, people feel supported, worship experience is valued and appreciated, especially the music program, energy for defining the future is very high, and we have strong faith in our lay leaders. And finally, the COVID transition was handled very well in terms of our ongoing ministries. In the area of weakness and risks, we of course have a feeling of loss of Brian, Kim, and other staff. COVID is impacting our ability to engage and connect as a community. We certainly have a concern for losing people. There's a decline in some ministries, an example, the middle and high school programs. Reaction to social justice issues is mixed. We're recommending centering on Christian point of view on how to heal and serve as a community. There's an urgency to move forward quickly, but that may impact the quality of discernment, and so we need a balanced plan. In terms of opportunities, we can develop a plan for re-engaging with the community with the use of phone calls, worship invites, emails, Facebooks, etc. We want to establish a process to get more listen and get feedback from the community ongoing basis. Create more meaningful connections, new Lutheran value. Post-COVID, how can we use technology to reach busy young families and possibly a contemporary worship format? Redefine roles across staff with the senior pastor, associate pastor, and the new business director to improving personal care. And finally, developing more balance between staff and lay leadership to maximize engagement and reduce staff burnout. In terms of additional areas of focus, we want to realize how does our community want to re-engage post-COVID? What are the key qualities they desire in a senior pastor? And what programs should be emphasized more in our future? And Kathi, you may have something to add to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for sharing that information, and that was obtained through, I believe, 24 interviews. Thank you to those who were interviewed. It was a cross-section of people, and they were interviewed by the listening leaders in that team. And so that information is very helpful to really get us a start on the next step, which will be...
Yes, thank you, Geraldine. Ron, really well done. And can I also acknowledge kind of the committee leader was Karen Randolph, right? And she did a beautiful job working with the other 6 of you, lay leaders from the congregation, to come up with that executive summary. We can send that out, Jerry. We can send that out over email, because you did a great job explaining it. Sometimes I like to see it again afterwards for reinforcement, if I read it as a visual learner. So we'll do that, if that's okay with everybody. But Karen summarized all that data, and now the next step is, now that you've heard that or will see that, we would like to invite the entire congregation to answer a short Congregational survey. It'll go out later today, and we would invite all of you to respond to the survey. It'll be short. We'll have a couple of quantitative questions and qualitative questions. I think it'll take you 10 to 15 minutes or however long you want to type. But the more people that would answer this, the better. It would give us a breadth of responses. You know, the questions, we really have 3 objectives for the survey. Number 1, where are we now, right? That's the name of this project. What did you call it, Jerry? Juan? We are here now. That's the name of the project. So a couple of questions on where you think we are. We've changed. COVID has changed all of us. The world has been reset. You know that, I know that, professionally, personally. And we want to respond to the themes that Ron read. We want to seek to understand more detail from you about those. Second, we have a couple questions asking you about what types of traits and characteristics do you think we need in the new senior pastor? Please be honest, be specific. Tell us what you're looking for. That will help Troy Coltis and his call committee. And then the third objective of this survey is the future vision of Trinity. Where do you think we should go now, after COVID, right? And how do you think we should come back this fall? What should we do specifically to go get our current members and new families, younger families, future members of Trinity Lutheran Church? That's what we want to ask you about. So that's going to happen later today. The survey will go out later today. And then in about another week, the steering committee will initiate another gathering, a data gathering process. And it's called cottage meetings. It's essentially focus groups. We've got 2 approaches. The first strategy is to go to the current small group system already at Trinity. So if you're in a Bible study, or you're in bells, or you're in choir, or whatever group, we'll come to you that way. One of us will facilitate that. And second, we're going to hold some open sessions. We would like to hold safe open sessions at Trinity. More groups are coming back face-to-face, Jerry's telling us. So we'd like to welcome you back into the church. We'll follow procedures, safety procedures, so that we can do that. But open sessions if you're not in a small group and you would like to come and give us your feedback. And the second strategy is we'll do some Zoom sessions if you don't feel comfortable coming back yet, or maybe it just works better in your schedule. So stay tuned. We'll advertise those out to all of you. But we're going to spend probably the rest of April and into May doing those small group cottage meetings. So we're going to have a lot of data. And just so I can share with you who's on the steering committee, you'll know. Ruth Bash is going to be a major player on this. She's going to be our data analyzer. She's volunteered for that job. We're very grateful. Jennifer Weiss, Katie Gagney, John Sweeney, and Troy Coltis and I. So we are the facilitators. We might even recruit Michelle. She's been kind of an ad hoc member to that committee. But we will come and meet with your group or invite you to our open session. So really looking forward. This is an important time in the project because just even the things we've learned from Karen's and Ron's group, really important themes. And now let's go deeper, let's go wider, and really seek to understand what people are thinking now.
That sounds great, Kathy. And yes, you will receive the email and the questions, and please take time to do that. That is, information is really all we have, so we appreciate that. And don't wait to come back to church until September. Hey, we have 2 new worship times. 9 o'clock, this 9 o'clock today is happening out in the parking lot, and then 10:30 inside. So we don't want you to get too hot.
I was going to say, can you explain the why? Because on Easter Sunday, I was a parking attendant, and people said to me, why is the 9 o'clock outside? So.
Exactly. Well, the thought was that 9 o'clock was outside so it wouldn't get too warm. Thinking ahead to the summer and when things really heat up, and then the 10:30 inside. I am sure that we will see how things go and adjust as needed. So thank you for that. And where our in-house worship is expanding all the time, and so I believe we're up to 60 people now, and so we welcome you to come and worship safely with us. So,
I appreciate that you're trying to anticipate Minnesota weather in April. Good luck.
exactly, exactly.
Not easy.
Not easy
I
to
know.
do.
Michelle, so you're council president. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure,
And-
and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you have a lot on your plate right now.
There is a lot going on, and of course, in the midst of the We Are Here No project, we're also, of course, conducting a call committee and a call for a new senior pastor, which we're moving forward in parallel. So the great advantage that we have is that we can take all of this great information from Ron and Karen's team and the cottage sessions and feed that directly to Troy Coltis, who's leading the call committee, and follow the ELCA process that we need to in order to call a new senior pastor. So that's moving forward as well, and with, I think, augmented by a lot of this great information. So we'll provide updates with that as that moves forward too.
Well, thank you for your work, and thanks to all these committees for doing really the legwork and operating in a transition period, which isn't easy. I thought that it was interesting concerning how we mourn people's leaving, both just that occurs naturally or by choice. And I think that is a question. We noticed that, of course, in the office, and I think it does take some time. It seems like a long time ago that we had Brian and Kim's farewell celebration, and here we are now in April. I didn't think it would ever come.
Yeah. Jared, do you remember the very first session that you and I did after Brian had retired? And Kim, we had a flip chart here on this stage.
Yes, we had Kathy's flip chart,
at the beginning,
yes.
and it talked about Dr. William Bridges' model of transition. Ending, right? The ending was Pastor Brian retiring. Then there's this phase called the neutral zone. And all the research says that is so hard, and we are still in it. We are in the neutral zone, right? And it's a difficult time. And then there will be, right, the hope of Easter, right? There will be a new beginning. And that's what Dr. Bridges says in his transition. So we are people of faith, and we trust, right, all the people working together here, that everyone will do their part. And we would ask that you would pray for all the lay leaders and the staff and the pastors, right, so that we can all continue to work together. But we believe that God is getting us ready and getting that new senior pastor ready to come, and will be a new Trinity, hopefully this fall.
Yep, I think that's great. And we are a caring, connected community, and we are hopeful people, and that's what Christianity is all about, is the hope. And so I acknowledge what you're doing and say thank you, I think, on behalf of everyone, and thank you to our congregation and community for your support and for coming back, now it's time for new behaviors as safety increases. So thank you, and look for more information on your email or website or on YouTube.